Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us on the Only Nation podcast, brought to you by the Raider Ramble. My name is Heidi, but you may know me as Kevlar Pondress or even Raider Ladybug. I'm here with Raider Homer and T3 Raider Facts, and we're ready to talk some Raider football together.
Always ready to talk Raider football, if we even see some Raider football.
All right, Raider Nation, you need us and we need you, so let's get started and let's do this thing together.
And before we get into this week's show, I just wanted to make a clarification on last week's. When I said that the Raiders' offensive line was ranked number one, what they actually are they're ranked number one by PFF going into the season in letting longer plays develop. They're not ranked number one overall. So I just wanted to clarify that and make sure that I didn't misspeak. Today on the show, though, we have Raiders news and we have NFL news. And boys, there are a lot.
And we would love to hear from you, so here's how you can get in touch with us. Leave us a message on the Only Nation podcast voicemail line at 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Or you can also text us at that number. Our email address is onlynationpod@gmail.com, and we can also be found on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. You can also check us out on YouTube at the Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on your favorite social media account and podcast app. Don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get some free Raider swag sent out to you. Also, check out our new website at theonlynationpod.com.
All right, the Raiders are scheduled to report to the NFL training camp in full on July 28th. Players are supposed to begin reporting on the 21st. Teams are expected to have all their full rosters in by the 28th. We're going to talk about this a little bit more a little bit later in the show because it's a hornet's nest.
And I think several of us have been stung already.
Yes, we have.
I know I have.
All right. In non-training camp news, though, Pro Football Focus, PFF, they had a really nice report on our offensive line last week. However, this week, they were very mean to us. They ranked the wide receiver unit for the Raiders in the dismal 28th spot. Our O-line was number one. They ranked our wide receivers 28th. What do you guys think about that?
They don't think very highly of Ruggs or Renfro, and I'm expecting they don't think Tyrell Williams is going to come back from his foot injury. I think it's a pretty shitty ranking, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I think it's a lower ranking than it should be. And I think they're just looking at Renfro and Tyrell Williams coming off injury. And to be honest with you, I think the one thing that they're looking at that knocks it down to 28 is they look at the receivers and they see Nelson Aguilar there. And I have a feeling that they're thinking of slotting him in as a starter. And if they do that, that's automatically knocking that ranking down to 28. So when I looked at that, I thought, well, why so low? And his name just kind of popped out.
Yeah, well, Nelson Aguilar is a starter, then we are 28th.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people are looking at because he's one of the few ones on the roster that's got some bona fide starting experience. Now, albeit not great, but again, I think that's what's knocking the rating down. Now, to be honest with you, I'm perfectly fine with the 28th ranking because I want to just put it in their face this year.
I'm cool with that.
I know we talked about, liking PFF when they rank us high and not liking them when they rank us low, but I mean, this is not accurate. I don't think, Tyrell Williams is a solid number 2, and Ruggs with just his speed alone, and what we said he had a 2.7% drop rate, is a true number 1. Even though I didn't like his size, his speed will take the safety out of the box. You will not see a whole lot of 8 in the box. They got to give help over the top. And then you got Renfro working the middle. Man, I would say the lowest 16th.
Legitimately, I had them at either 16 or 17, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, right in the middle of the league. I'm comfortable with saying that for sure. Another piece of exciting Raiders news. The Al Davis Way street sign has been installed near Raiders Allegiant Stadium. It's just off of Dean Martin Drive, and it's on the north end of the facility. Have you guys seen the pictures? I posted a picture of it on Twitter this morning. So if you guys haven't seen it, go and take a look.
I saw the picture. It's so great to see a major street with Al Davis Way on it. That's just so cool.
Yes, what a way to honor Al Davis, and Al Davis Way, the Raider Way, Al Davis Way. I think it's perfect. And other news, the Nevada Occupational Safety and Health Administration has levied a fine against the firm overseeing the construction of Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Morrison McCarthy was fined $13,494 for the violation related to 2 incidents where workers allegedly didn't follow social distancing guidelines. Welcome to the new world.
No
wow,
kidding.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So,
well, we ended up with several positive tests, so.
I mean, that's the way it's going to be from now on, you know? So, wow. I mean, a lot of people are going to be getting fined. I mean, because we can't, unless we go like full Matrix, right? Like, we cannot completely social distance. Like, it's just, that's not going to happen.
Let's just fine AB and have him pay that money.
He's probably broke by now. Anyways, the Las Vegas Stadium Authority adopted a policy that will allow community nonprofit organizations to use an Allegiant Stadium suite for fundraising. Now, that's kind of cool. I like how they do that. Give back to the community that paid for your stadium. That's nice.
Yeah, especially the Raiders. Raiders are really good at giving back to the community. I love seeing that in them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. An Allegiant Stadium is 98% complete and is on track to receive a temporary certificate of occupancy for August 1st. Now, whatever that means, right? Because we don't even know if we're going to have fans in the stands, right? So I guess that's for the next, but what's that for, right? Because wasn't there supposed to be a boxing match? I guess that's what it's for. I don't even know.
I don't know. I know that there was a Garth Brooks concert scheduled towards the end of August, but I believe that's canceled.
Yeah, I think they've just recently canceled
I mean, unless you see something like in the future, you see a Garth Brooks concert at Allegiant Stadium where like you buy a ticket and you watch it on Zoom. Is that where we're heading now? Where like if you want to see the like Marvel Studios, I'm a huge Marvel fan. I've been waiting on the Black Widow movie forever now, but it's been rescheduled, right? But if they have to reschedule it again, right, because they don't want to do video on demand, you know, they're gonna have to start looking at something to like, are you gonna go to a theater website and buy a ticket and still watch it from your house? You know, is that something that's gonna happen? Who knows? You know, I'm sorry, I got off topic.
That's all right. So Allegiant Stadium's natural grass tray was moved inside for the first time, and it looked incredible. And this reminds me of when they first opened up the stadium in Phoenix, and they had the grass trays moving them in and out. And it's so incredible that they have the technology to be able to do that with natural grass. And I'm looking forward to the time when they can actually play on those trays. So it is kind of cool to see that. So what do you all think about the pictures you've seen?
They were pretty awesome.
Yeah, they look good, but I'm just waiting for the time that I can actually go into the stadium and watch a game and see it there, you know, in person.
Looks so beautiful, though, with the grain of the grass being mowed a certain way. You just can't get that in a artificial turf environment.
Or a field with crappy infield dirt.
Exactly.
Well, the Raiders have not confirmed a reduced seating capacity for this year. I know that stadiums across the country have been up in arms about whether to determine what the seating capacity was going to be. I know the Baltimore Ravens determined that they were going to have a 14,000 capacity. And, of course, everything's up in the air right now with the whole start of the season. But the fact that they haven't confirmed a reduced seating capacity, I think, is intelligent from the standpoint of let's just see what we can accommodate before making a decision early. And again, if we open up the season, we may not have fans in the stands, so we'll just have to wait and see what the decisions will be made. And I know that they're going to probably do this in conjunction with other owners and other stadiums. So we'll have to wait and see what those determinations are going to be.
Well, here's the thing, right? So they're thinking I've heard the first 8 rows, right? Rows, they won't those fans won't be able to attend, right? And then they're thinking about putting advertisement, CGI advertisement in those sections. Well, okay. Do the PSL people, do the people that paid for those PSLs get some of that money? You know what I mean? Or do they just lose their money? Or you're going to give them back their money and then allow them to have the first chance to get it back when all this is over with?
I don't think they decided.
Well, if I paid for a PSL, I'd be really pissed off right now.
Hell yeah. I know people that have PSLs and they're like, I don't know. We don't know what's going on. It's like, dude, what? Like, I mean, it's kind of cool, right? Don't jump the gun. But at this point, we all thought, well, maybe not we all, but a lot of us may have thought, like the flu, it would be okay in the summer, right? That's why all these events were coming around. I know I was going to host an event, but it's not looking good right now, And so at this point, if it seems like it's could get worse, right? In the winter, right? Because then you're not going to know if people have COVID or if it's just the flu. So at this point, just come out and say it. Just come out and say, hey, look, we're not going to have this. We're not going to do this. We're not going to. keep people on the hook waiting just because you're hoping with your fingers crossed that you can still make the billions of dollars that you want to make.
Now, this is where I think Goodell's office really takes a hit, because I think in a lot of things that have had a controversial nature to them, he has tried his best to put either a positive spin on it or deflect it to the part where people are thinking it's not really a big deal. And I think that's something that's been done here, and it's coming back to bite the league and the fans in general, because I think a lot of us were led to believe that when this thing came down in March and April that, we just need to wait it out for 4 months, and then by July and August things will be back to normal.
Yeah, maybe next July or next August. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, in a related article, Mark Davis is saying that he will not attend games in Vegas if the fans aren't allowed to attend. And once again, got to give Mark Davis some credit. I think he understands and sees both sides of the coin here, and says that if the fans aren't allowed to attend, he's going to be right there with them. So he's standing shoulder to shoulder with the fans. And as he comes into a new city, not necessarily new, because Al was very familiar with Vegas throughout the years, but I think this is a really good statement that Mark Davis makes in standing shoulder to shoulder with the fans and saying, I'm right there with you. I feel your pain, and I can't do anything about this situation, but I'm right there with you.
Oh, yeah. Mark's not going down without a fight. He's not going down without a fight on the first few rows of proposal, and he's not going down without a fight on no fans at all. He is a champion for the fans in this case, and he wants everyone there.
Yeah, I like the sentiment, right? This is, to me, it's like, okay, all those people that were talking shit about Mark, now, like, hope you keep your mouth shut from now on. Because, like, he wasn't this billionaire owner that can build his own stadium, but he's this down-to-earth owner that flies cheap-ass, flights and takes cheap taxis or whatever and cheap haircuts, because he's just an average, everyday guy at the end of the day, so I liked it. I like the sentiment, but at the same time, man, just if you know that what the NFL is trying to do, then go ahead and come out and say, hey, if the NFL is doing this or that, don't worry, PSL ticket holders, or I'm gonna take care of y'all. Y'all are getting y'all's money back. Come out and say it. Don't just keep there crossing. Don't just cross your fingers and hope everything's gonna go away, because at this point, we all know it's not just gonna go away.
People have been goofing on Mark Davis for years, and from the haircut to the PF Changs, everything else. But I'll tell you what, he has really garnered a lot of respect from me, especially over the last few months with some of the statements he's made, and he truly gets it. I think he sees it from the fan perspective. He's not one of these silver spoon owners who just gradually had things handed to him. I think he's understood that really, in order to survive in this league, you got to have some cojones, and he's got them.
And not just that, you got to have your fans. You got to have your fans. I think it goes back to show that it wasn't a slight to the fans leaving Oakland. You know what I mean? It was just a business decision for the team, the Raiders. So, I think that he holds the fans in high regard, and I really respect him for that.
Yeah, I've definitely become more of a Mark Davis fan in the last year or so, but especially the last few months. I think he really wants to advocate for the fans, be a champion for the fans, and I think he does that because he himself is a fan. And while he does come from a somewhat privileged position because he was Al Davis's son, it's not like Al, took him under his wing and really taught him everything about running the team.
Right.
Mark is feeling his way through this, but he's feeling his way through it with his heart as well. And I think that's what's making it show that he really is trying to do what's best for the team and for the fans.
I think when I really started to change my opinion was after the Jacksonville game, and things didn't go well, and everybody was pissed and people were upset. But in the statements that he was making, you could truly see and feel the disappointment that he had, not just for the fact that they lost that game, but the fact that the era in Oakland was over. And I think he truly knew that Al wanted to do what he could to keep the team in Oakland, and he had expressed that on many occasions. And I think that had rubbed off on Mark. So when the era was finally over, I think you could see and feel that pain in him that he really didn't want to leave, but he knew that this is where things had to go in order for things to move into the future. And we're moving into the future.
Amen to that.
Okay, and that brings us to our first very important segment, Heidi's High Five.
All right, this is this week's version of Heidi's High Five. Back to happier times here. All right, number one, the world continues to turn for Jadeveon Clowney. Now, unless they've already made a deal for him or he has re-signed with Seattle, which is what I think will actually happen, I could see throwing $14 million his way on maybe a one-year deal. But whatever happens, I will say this. Mark Davis has turned the football operation over to Gruden and Mayock. If he trusts in their collective process, things will work. I'm talking draft, I'm talking free agents, I'm talking player development, and I'm talking on-field schemes. Number two, so Mike Mayock has been absolutely gushing about the young group of guys who came in last year and who are coming in this year. Mayock's not afraid to challenge his guys, and he seems to have a way of resonating with his players. That marks a huge difference from the past and is one of the main reasons why I strongly believe that the return to excellence is right around the corner. Number three, knock on wood if you're with me. Training camps are about to open, knock on wood, we hope. Now, nothing would make me happier than to be able to report about players on the field, but still, the most important thing is player safety. If everything goes according to plan, things will really start to open up as far as content is concerned. So as far as the show is concerned, the NFL Network, everything else, I've really got my fingers crossed and probably my toes as well. Number four, LaMarcus Joyner comes in this year with a big question mark. I don't see him as a starter, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he has a lot to prove. I strongly see my guy, Amik Robertson, coming in by mid-year to help secure that crease in the defense, the nickel slot. But as far as Joyner is concerned, I want to see him elevate his game and be the guy that the Raiders brought him in to be last year. Number five, now if we get training camp underway this week, I'm going to come back in our next episode and I'm going to give you my underachieving camp body and my overachieving camp body. Now, these are just predictions. It may vary week to week, but I want to be able to give props where I can and maybe stoke the fires and challenge some others. So I'm just keeping my fingers and toes crossed that we get back to football. And that, my friends, is this week's version of Heidi's High Five.
All right. Thank you, T3.
I just want to say one thing about LaMarcus Joyner, right? I don't think Amik Robertson is going to be able to step in and take his place. Like if you're in that thought process, then you got to kind of be in the thought process that says Ruggs is going to step in and be a true number one day one, right? And you might as well go another step further and say Muse is going to come in and beat out the weak side linebacker, and he's going to start day one. Like Amik Robinson's like the seventh. What was he? The later rounds, like a fifth, right? I think we only had we didn't pick after the fifth, but I don't see that happening.
You're assuming LaMarcus Joyner plays good, though.
I think he's gonna play well. He's gonna have Littleton right there next to him. That's a lot of speed. You know, that's a lot of ball hawking too. I mean, and so you're gonna take Amik Robinson, who doesn't know anything about this defense, right? And without really any training camp, right? Like it would have been, and with the rookie mini camp and all that, and think that he's gonna come in and take LaMarcus Joyner spot. I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know. I'm just not a big LaMarcus Joyner fan, but you already knew that.
Yes.
I'm hoping that he takes this as a challenge. So I've kind of thrown down the gauntlet now and saying you need to step up your game. So I'm throwing it out there, hoping that he's almost going to kind of treat this as a contract year where he says, okay, I came in last year, I underperformed, so I'm under the microscope, and I really need to step up my game. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm just saying, if in a similar situation, Carr is going to do the same thing in my mind. You know, with Mariota being signed. You know, but
let's hope so.
Yeah,
get a little bit of fire under his feet.
Yeah, I mean, it never hurts. Competition is good for the team overall. You know, but
definitely.
I think LaMarcus Joyner is going to have a bounce back season. He's going to have a big season this year.
All right, we've kind of got a. I hope so too. We've kind of got a little NFL discussion period right now. While it will take a few days to get this episode out, and there could be a ton of changes before then, this weekend, today actually, there was a concerted effort by the players to go to social media and tell the fans, we want to play, but we do not trust the NFL's safety protocols that they've put in place for training camp and for the season. In fact, Rodney Hudson posted this. Not only is the NFL putting player safety at risk, but also our loved ones. My wife is immunocompromised, and the NFL's unwillingness to follow the recommendations of the experts will not only jeopardize the season, but also players and their families' lives as well. The NFL needs to adjust if we hope to play a full season. Now, there were a lot of other people, a lot of other players that posted. TJ Watt and Arden Key, they posted a long, almost list of demands on Instagram and on Twitter. Derek Carr, he posted with the hashtag, we want to play. A lot of players that posted, we want to play. Eric Harris, just a ton of them. Tyrann Mathieu throughout the league. My question, simply put, is what do you think this season will look like? And do you think we'll even have a season?
At this point, I don't think so. And it's getting to the point where I don't even care. I mean, I'm sorry to say it. I mean, I don't mean to sound like the asshole, but I'm putting my family at risk every day also for 10 hours a day. Okay? I don't know who I'm working around. They could have anything. I could get it at any second. All right? Not only just the electricians out there and the other tradesmen, but we're talking about firemen, policemen, everybody, nurses, right? That are jeopardizing their family's safety to be, to keep things running. Like, so just come out. That's what I mean. Just come out and say it then, just, are you going to have it or not? I want a full season. You know what I mean? I don't want a shortened season. If that's the case, I'll just go back to watching, the Marvel videos that are coming out and reading more comic books and putting my energy into something else that's always there. I don't like it. I don't like the players coming out and saying this. I know that everybody's taking a risk, and they got loved ones that they're concerned about. But at the same time, hey, everybody's putting their ass on the line right now. You're a millionaire. You got all kinds of insurance and access to doctors that thousands of people don't even have. You know what I mean? And they're going to work every day, every single day. They don't get to go on social media and say, man, you know what? I'm not going to go wire this person's house. No, they got to go to work so that house can close and so that somebody else can move their family into that house. You got nurses that they can't say, I'm not going to go to work. This could put my family at risk. No, they go and put their lives on the line and their families on the line to save your life. And the police do it too. The firemen do it too. Every day they put their ass on the line to save your family, to save your community. Like, it's football, man. It's football. There's, COVID is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And they're trying to put protocols into place that minimize the transfer of this virus, right? But you know what? I just go in and they take my temperature at work and that's it. I don't like the protocols at work. They're not doing much to protect me. Now I get it. I'm just an electrician. I don't really count for anything, but if that's the case, man, I'm going to lose a lot of respect for these players. And it started with the Khalil Mack bullshit. He got offered a ton of money. He said he didn't want that money. He wanted more money. So that's when I quit buying players' jerseys again. And if this happens with the players, I'm going to lose a lot more respect for them because I got a family that I'm putting on the line when I go to work every day.
Well, Homer, let me jump right in and preface this by saying that you do matter, and people that work in your capacity and fire and rescue and people that are teachers and all those capacities that should be paid a lot more than they are, and I get that, and I understand that emotions are raw, and that this is going to piss off a lot of fans and really shut the door on a lot of fans toward what may or may not happen this year. But I will say this: I do not trust Goodell. And I don't respect him. Now, he can be upset and pissed off and block me on Twitter and everything else that he wants, but I think the players had to come together and make a strong statement for the league to really stand up and take notice, because up to this point, I think they haven't. So I think by doing this, maybe this is the next step toward pushing something to really be done, because I don't think the league really has done what they needed to this point.
What can they do? You know, like it's out there. It's out there, man. It can be anywhere. You know, this is a risk that everybody's taking. All right. And if you, I'm just saying, if you don't want to go to work like the rest of us are going to work, then I'm not gonna put in as much effort into your trade as I have been. I'm just not gonna do it. I lost a lot of respect for players that are greedy, more millions. I want more millions. And now they're like, well, I got all these millions, but I ain't gonna play. No, man. Everybody else is working.
But I think back in April or May, they could have easily made the statement that, hey, in light of everything, we know this is not going away early. We're going to go ahead and announce now that we're going to cancel the first 4 weeks of the season, like I'd made the prediction last week, which buys them a little bit of time. At least they can then have time to do some studies and to look and see how things are going. At least this is it's something that they can show to the fans and to the general public that we do take this thing seriously. We're still planning on playing football, but we're not waiting until the 11th hour to make a snap judgment and decision and piss off everybody and end up with people turning on the whole organization and sport like people did back in 1994 when they shut down Major League Baseball during the middle of the year. So, I mean, the NBA and baseball are not getting nearly the type of flack that the NFL is. Now, again, I could be wrong, but I think the emotions are a lot more raw with the general NFL fan than with the other sports, because the NFL is the cash cow, and it's the sport, and I think it's the one that people really have been anticipating more than anything else. So that's why I think things are so tense right now.
Well, I think that the reason there hasn't been this type of outcry against Major League Baseball in the NBA is because they haven't run into it with their eyes wide shut. The NFL has been just pretending that it will go away. And they have not prepared for the fact that it's here. It's here for a long time. It could be here permanently, like Homer says. They've just been going in full force, planning on going forward with the season, going forward with everything. And these contingencies, they haven't planned on. And if they have planned on, they haven't told anybody. But I can tell you one thing for sure. Fans are definitely not on the player side in this case. The players are getting skewered on social media. I was looking through Twitter and Instagram, and I honestly didn't find one post that supported them. I'm sure there are a few out there, but like Homer said, everyone that's going out there and working is exposing themselves. Just because you make $12 million a year, does that make you especially special? If anything, that gives you the opportunity to just sit out. It's not going to hurt a lot of these players to sit out 1 year. A lot of them that make the league minimum, it would hurt them. But there are a lot of superstars that are putting up a fight right now. And you know what? Just stay home. Just stay home.
That's where the problem is, though. Not everybody gets to say, "Oh, I'm just going to stay home." People will lose their houses and everything that they've worked so hard for. And these rich people are going to be okay. It's okay. Hey, we don't have to play this season, you know? And hey, you know, like speaking of the NBA and all that, right? Aren't they going into this little bubble, right? Where they're all going to go to this one location and they can't really go do a whole lot. Well, here's an idea, NFL. How about you just play at one stadium? All right. Are these millionaires going to do that? I mean, I know it's not feasible, but I mean, come on. What is it then that's gonna make them want to play? Is it testing every day, or I don't know. I just can't have respect for them right now because there's so many people going out there and working so hard just to kind of keep their head above water. And if they don't want to play, then I mean, at this point, I mean, I don't want to even be a fan of the players anymore. I just don't want to. I can't have respect for that. I just can't.
I get that, and I understand that, and I truly, I'm trying to see both sides of the spectrum. I know if I'm a player, if I'm casting myself now as an NFL player, and I really find myself in a quandary because I want to play because playing is what I do and it's what I love, but I don't want to also be the one that's going to buck trends and to be the one stepping out of line. I think solidarity is the important thing here. So in the next few days, I'm hoping that the league will then turn around and look at the players from a solid standpoint and say, well, we need to really make some determinations and make some definitive decisions about a season. Are we going to go ahead and cancel half the season and say, okay, we're going to plan on an 8-game schedule and go from there? But they do need to take a definite step. And I think the players being solid on one plane, though it's pissing a lot of people off, I think was a necessary thing to do.
I guess.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, Raider Nation, we want to hear y'all's opinion. So give us a call at 904-701-8667. Again, we want to hear y'all's opinion. You can leave us a voicemail or a text message at that number, or send us a message via social media, and we'll share your thoughts.
All right, thanks, Homer. And Homer, did you know?
All right, now we'll try to bring a smile to your face, Homer. So let's see if we can kind of lighten make it a little levity here, bring a little light to the situation. So, Homer, did you know what the weirdest training camp injury was for the Raiders?
No.
We'll tell you. Now, during the Raiders' glory years in the 1970s, they held training camp down in Santa Rosa, and the team stayed at the El Rancho Tropicana Hotel. But did you know that during one of their legendary after-curfew party nights, Phil Villapiano, the former linebacker who played 8 years for the Raiders from 1971 to 1978, made the mistake of ordering a member of the Hells Angels off the hood of his car? The guy walked over to me nose to nose, and another angel came around behind me and slammed me in the head with a hammer, Villapiano recalled. And that incident laid him up for about a month. And that's just one of countless training camp stories etched into the lore of that good old Raider mystique. So I'm going to ask the question again. Homer, did you know?
Yes, I did. I remember reading about that, but at first, no, I didn't know. Hell, there's so many injuries, But yeah, that was definitely a weird one.
There's some other weird ones, but when I came across that, I thought that's got to be one that is worth reporting.
Definitely. And sorry, but that's what he gets for trying to order a Hell's Angel around.
Yeah, you don't screw with the Hell's Angels.
There might have been a little alcohol involved.
Possibly, just a tad.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and that brings us to, once again, the most important session of the show, Heidi's Heroes.
Hang on, before you start, I'm going to interrupt you because this is funny, and I got to tell you all this. Today in my car, when I was just finishing listening to the Heidi's Heroes off the last podcast episode, and I swear to you, this actually happened. I was listening to Sirius, and they were doing the 1981 countdown for this week in 1981, and the number 7 song on the list came up, and what do you think that song was? The Heidi's Heroes song.
I was going to say, How Do You Talk to an Angel? That's about the same.
That's about the same. But I thought I'd mention that because that actually did happen.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
This week's hero has only been with the Raiders just over a year. He arrived on the scene as a defensive end with 47 total tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 14 quarterback hits, 4 forced fumbles, 4 passes defensed, and 10 sacks in his rookie season. He came in second in the league's voting for the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. Obviously, I'm talking about fan favorite Max Crosby. Max isn't my hero this week for what he did on the field last year, though. He's my hero for what he did this past week. Last week, he spent 11 hours hosting the Athletes Doing Good Radiothon on ESPN Las Vegas Radio. Proceeds went to benefit the Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital. Primary Children's Hospital is one of the nation's top freestanding children's hospitals. Intermountain is recognized as a leader in transforming healthcare with high quality yet sustainable costs and helps people live the healthiest lives possible. Knowing how much Crosby gave of himself for this cause, pretty easy to see why he's this week's hero.
And yet, Madden rate him at a 77. After you read all those stats and the things that he's doing off the field, he only got a 77 rating in Madden. So
it's wrong. It's just wrong.
I think Goodell came out with those ratings.
Anybody know what Nick Bosa was rated?
No.
I'm curious.
It was higher than him, though. It was higher than him. It's
probably 103.
Probably.
I mean, Max, he's one of those guys that I was thinking about buying his jersey. So hopefully, I know he can't cross the line, per se or whatever, but hopefully he's somebody that's inspiring the other players to say, hey, no matter what, we're going to play.
Yeah. I love Max. I'd love to be able to get his jersey.
Yeah, their platform depends on them playing and what they do on the field. Don't forget that, right? It's not just off the field, right? But they don't have a platform, unless they play on the field, so we'll see.
All right. Thanks again to our listeners for joining us on the Only Nation podcast.
Give us a call at 904-701-8667. We want to hear from y'all, man. These are some crazy days. Give us y'all's opinion. Leave us a voicemail or send a text message to that number. It's 904-701-8667. You can also email us at onlynationpod@gmail.com, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. Our YouTube channel is The Only Nation Podcast. Please subscribe to that channel. We would very much like it. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on your favorite social media account and podcast app. And don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get you some free Raider swag sent out to you.
Also, be sure to check out our new website at onlynationpod.com. Until next time, everyone, go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
Come on, football.
Please.